Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream based on the card draw that I do in the morning. And I got to straighten my camera a little bit. Sorry about that. The oracle cards or the divination cards that I use based on the intention for the most important energy flowing today that's important for us to know about. For our highest good, of course, and the highest good of all. And so the card actually becomes the base of a spiritual conversation about the message that Spirit is bringing to us today. So welcome to the daily live stream. And today is Tuesday, March 5th. March 5th already. You know, we're right in smack dab in the middle of the production of the Star Nations magazine March issue. And so, yes, I'm very busy with it. And I hope you guys are going to like this issue. It's turning out to be one that is, what's a good word? The articles that the contributing writers select, there's a couple of series going on, actually. Julie Hedges is just starting a new series of articles, and so I hope you guys are going to like it. Yeah, it's very exciting. This is the part of the creation of the magazine that I just really love, and yeah, it's got a lot of adrenaline to it. I think it's that spring energy, actually. So before we get rolling too far much down the road, I am going to like and share the live stream, and I invite you to do the same. If I can unlock my phone, that would be good. Well, okay. There it goes. I'm going to say it's stuck. There. Now we just have to find the live stream. There we are. I'm going to like it, and I'm going to share it over to my my news feed, just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And to please join me. There we go. That's good. And Stephanie is still out sick. They have a virus. I guess it's kind of like the flu. And so she's still out. So I'm gonna actually send it over to our closed groups too, so that we have that covered. And I'll let them know that I'm live streaming. And to please join us. There we go. Now, make sure I get it to the right groups here. So it happens when you have bifocals. There. That's good. And thank you for doing that. Even if you're watching the recorded show, we still invite you to like and share. And the reason being is that, we do know that Facebook really likes, and they like us to share. And so when we do that, we end up in the news feed a bit more often. And and for those people, those souls who are looking for this kind of information, we're a little bit easier to find. Yeah. So thank you for doing that. Hey, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. And you shared, and you always let me know that you're grounded. Thank you for doing that, Rochelle. And Julie Shumway Hill is also here. And look who is here. Mervyn Kelly's here. Good evening and joyful blessings, everyone. It's always good to see you in the chat, Mervyn. Yeah. Hey, and Anne's here too. Hello, Anne. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Well, this card draw today, we have actually 3 cards. Now, I know that's a lot of cards to cover in 1 hour. And so I called my team in, right, to help me this afternoon to say, help me to cover what's most important in all 3 cards so that we fit it all in the time allotted. That's Earth time, right? Yeah. So let's get started. And since we have some time here. All right, so let's see if I can juggle all of this. The first card we've had before, and it's always very interesting to see who shows up when, right? And so Swan showed up. She came flying out of the deck and landed face up on the floor in the upright position, not the reverse, but the upright position. And, this particular card, I think this might be the 5th or 6th time in a month that we have received this card. And so we know that the swan, because this is what the author, Philip, tells us, is about the soul, it's about love, and it's about beauty. And the other swan in the back is, I think we pronounce it Angus, had shape-shifted into a swan so that he could be with Yvette, which is the female swan in the foreground. And she's the one with the necklace on, right? Yeah. Yeah, and so it's about the soul and about love and about beauty. And we know that in the background, up there on the hill, is Newgrange, and that's in Ireland. And Newgrange is a burial, it's a cairn, right? And the story goes is that Angus, they wanted to be together forever, right? Because swans mate for life. And he wanted to take her home to Newgrange. Right? So, and so we're also dealing with, obviously, the divine feminine right there in the front. And again, with water, which is about emotion, right? And this happens to be a lake. A lake. And generally speaking, lakes are usually fairly deep, which means what? Deep emotions, right? Yeah. Yeah. I want to see who's in the chat here. Get caught up. Hey, bonjour. Bonjour, Nijana. Nijana. Not much happening here but work. And Bobby is saying, well, hello, friend. Hello back to you, Bobby. Randy back to work after his month home and viruses here gone. Yay! That is great news, Bobby. Healthy, healthy, healthy. Good stuff. And grounded. Excellent, excellent. And Rochelle, yeah, I got that. Forgot the Z in the bonjour. Depending on how you spell it, right? Depending on how it's spelled. Coming from the Anishinaabe, that would be with a Z. The Anishinaabe, which are the Potawatomi, it's with an S. Yeah. And Jackie's saying hello to everybody. Hello, Jackie. Good to have you here. And Rob said the swan swims so bonny-o. Yes, she does. Ewberry is her name. And Mervyn has said, I fed a swan by hand once. You did? They're huge birds, aren't they? I can't remember their wingspan, but it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. I wonder, are they kind of like geese? Geese can get really territorial. And they say that if you really want protection around your home and, or something like that, is to have geese, because they don't let anybody in that's not supposed to be there. All right. So here is what Philip says about this swan card. Okay. He says, I forgot how to pronounce it in Gaelic. Hang on. Gotta get to the Gaelic. The swan. Eala. That's it. Eala. Eala. Eala brings us the quality of soul, of love and depth, grace and beauty. Being associated with the Druid festival of Samhain, the swan is also a bird of the threshold and represents the part of us which can travel into the other world. Drawing this card may indicate that you will receive inspiration from the other world, or that love is entering your life. It's an auspicious to draw this card if you're preparing to write a song or a poem. The swan's skin and feathers were used to make the bard's ceremonial cloak. Okay, so so Ewberry is sitting. She's just coming in for a landing, right? And you can kind of see the splash there, right? So she's just coming in. And Philip says that the swan is also the bird of the threshold and represents that part of us that can travel into the other world. And the other world indicated here is Newgrange. Newgrange, okay. So Angus says that he wanted to be with Ewberry, right? And he wanted to take her home to his home, which is Newgrange. Newgrange, the one that they're showing here, is not necessarily a place where you'd live in the physical world. Okay? It's a cairn, it's a burial, it's a tomb. So they're indicating the other world, crossing over, walking on. And so going to visit spirit or be in spirit together in the other world. We might even call it possibly even soul traveling, right? Being able to go from one dimension to another. Now, we didn't talk about that the last few times we had this card. We might have mentioned it in passing, but we never really actually talked about it, that being a gateway. The threshold. And what is a threshold? The betwixt and the between, right? You're not outside the room or the building, and you're not quite inside the building. You're at the threshold. You're in between. Yeah. You're in between. And the the swan represents the soul and love. So it could also be said that maybe they're talking about our ancestors or their ancestors, going to visit their ancestors, going home to their ancestors. Because that's who would be buried at Newgrange. Newgrange is also the site of high ceremony at the solstices. And it's actually a very popular place to be during the solstices. And they can only fit so many people in there, right? And so what they do in modern day is they have a lottery. And so you can enter your name as many times as you want to. And then they draw X number of people. I think it's 30-something people. And then you get to go inside the cairn to experience the sun, the returning of the sun at the solstice. Now, I've been to Newgrange, I don't know, 4 times, maybe 5, something like that. And so now they have it's powered. They've got electricity run out there so that they can simulate the solstice, right? So the swan representing the soul, love, and beauty. Because I have a feeling that this is all going to be about the soul today. Yes. Hey, Mel Smith is here too. Hello to Mel. Welcome, Mel. It's good to have you here. And I gotta scroll down just a bit. And here's Polly Joe. Polly Joe LeBay's in the house. This means that we have at least 2 of our live stream show hosts in our chat room today. It's good to have you guys here. Yeah. That was a great show, Polly Joe, that you did earlier at noon Eastern. Because I think these cards are following that up. And I'll tell you why in a second. Rob says, and there dost sit my false sister Anne, a heave ho and bonny o, who drowned me for the sake of a man. The swan swims so bonny o. Okay, so what song is that, Rob? And who's the artist? And Mervyn is saying, did you hear the story of when drummers were invited to Newgrange? No, I haven't. Which drummers? Drummers from all over the world? Indigenous drummers? Which drummers? And if there's a YouTube, got to share the link to that one. Got to share that one. Okay, so the swan came first, right? In the card draw this morning. And here, Philip, the author, says that the swan's graceful form clearly connects it to the goddess and the qualities of beauty and femininity, which is why the theme of maidens turned into swans occurs in folk tales throughout the world, and most well known being enacted in the ballet Swan Lake. But the theme of the maiden turning into a swan is also an allegory of death, the swan representing the soul, which is usually seen as feminine. Interesting, huh? Okay, so keep that in mind. Soul, the threshold, possibly soul travel, going from one dimension to another, maybe going to visit ancestors into Newgrange. And that we're talking about the sacred feminine or the divine feminine here. Okay? Because here comes the second card. Here comes the second card. We've had this one before too. Sow, also called Mook. I think that's how it's pronounced. Hang on, let me double check. The pronunciation guide in the back. Yeah, Mook. Okay. And here's the sow with her 7 babies eating birch tree acorns. Also getting nourishment from their mother. Yep. And the words that go with this sow is generosity, nourishment, and discovery. Generosity, nourishment, and discovery. Okay. We're going to get there. Hang on. The card shows a sow with her piglets. In the fields behind her, we see wheat and barley, said to have been brought to Wales by the divine sow, Enwyn, the white ancient. On the horizon, we see the hill of Tara, also in Ireland. It's where the kings would be crowned, high kings, which meant that they represented all the clans in Ireland, which was once known as Muc Innis, or Pig Island, when the Tuatha Dé Danann, the shining ones, changed into the shape of a pig. In the foreground, to the right grows sow thistle, and to the left deadly nightshade, which is said pigs can eat without harm. On the ground lies one of the favorite foods of pig, the nuts of the birch tree. Okay, and so if you remember about the birch tree, the salmon in the salmon card was eating the birch nuts as well in the pool of water, right? And so we know that the birch tree is about wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom. Knowledge is something that we gather, but wisdom is the applied knowledge. Okay, so the applied knowledge. Oh, good. There you go, Rob. Thank you for the YouTube channel link. And Valerie's here too. Hello, Valerie. Good to have you here. And Rob is also saying The Bonnie Swans by Lorena McKennett. Thanks for that, Rob. And he's also saying based on the old Northumbrian murder ballad, The Two Sisters. Oh. What musical instruments played with that? I would like to think a bodhrán, a drum. All right, back to Mook. Mook. Sow. Mook, with her large litters, symbolizes abundance and fertility. Drawn upright, this card may mean that you are called upon to be generous. Feeling connected to the love of the goddess for all her creatures, you're able to give freely, knowing that you in turn are nourished and sustained by her. Choosing this card, you can open yourself to the abundance that exists throughout nature. You can allow yourself to accept this abundance, knowing that life perpetually renews itself and that you need not worry about ever being disconnected from it. Allow yourself to feast upon life, to enjoy its beauties and its sensual delights. The goddess is generous, giving to all and renewing all. Okay? And with this one, the part that jumped out at me was knowing that life perpetually renews itself and that you need not worry about ever being disconnected from it. You don't have to worry about that. That we're always connected, always. Now, it depends on the depth of the connection, but we're always connected. Okay. Okay. So, and that the pig is really connected to the goddess and nurturing, right? All right. And so Philip goes on to say the ability of pigs to discover the earth's secrets is one of the reasons why the pig is so important in the Druid tradition. Both the male and female pigs are sacred to the goddess, the sow representing her life-giving aspect, the boar symbolizing her life-taking aspect. To fully understand the role of the pig as a totem animal, we must study and work with both sow and boar. Okay, so I'm going to just repeat the words that Philip associates with sow, and that is generosity, nourishment, and discovery. And again, we're working with the sacred, sorry about that, clients. We're working with the sacred feminine. Okay. It's a lot to keep in mind, but here's the third card. And once I get through all of them, I'll show them all of them together. Whoops, dropped that one. Okay. Now this one we've never had before. Okay. All right. Seal. Seal. And I want to double check the Gaelic again. Do my best in translating it. Seal. Okay. Ron. The Gaelic word for seal is ron. R-O-N. And the words associated with ron is love, longing, and dilemma. Love, longing, and dilemma. The card shows a gray seal on the shore of the sacred island of Iona, once known as Eala na Druidnach. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure that if Mervyn can help us with that pronunciation, that would be great. Which means the Isle of Druids. A pale rainbow shines over the Atlantic, and on the horizon we see the outline of an uninhabited island called Dutchman's Cap. Dutchman's Cap. And just taking a look at this, it's such a sweet face, isn't it? Beautiful sky. We've got the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean in the background. Grounded. She's not in the water. She's not even near the water. She's on land. Philip says that the card calls to you from the seal people of the sea. The Dan and Ron, the song of the seals, upsets and frightens many who hear it. Its mournful and human sound stirs the heart of the listener to the core. It is a call from the sea, from the unconscious, from the depths. It calls to us from the waters of our birth, from our beginnings on earth, from our brothers and our sisters in the animal realm who are closer to us than we dare imagine. We fear this call because we feel we may be drowned, overwhelmed by our feelings. But do not let your intellect imprison your heart. As the human imprisons his sultry spouse, the magical seal. Opening yourself to the promptings of the unconscious, the feminine, of your dreams and longing will bring transformation, healing, and love into your life. Now, the card came to us upright, okay? It was not in the reverse, but I found that with this deck, that if we include some of the information about the reverse, it helps us to understand why this particular card is supporting the first card, the Swan, okay? So Philip goes on to say that the card suggests that, in reverse, suggests that you may have come to a time in your life when you're faced with a dilemma. Each way you turn could involve risk and potential loss, and yet you must make a choice. The seal speaks of the longing of the heart, of true love, of a sense of humanity and goodness. In the end, this should be the determining factor in your choice. Although the seal may represent loneliness and separation, as the Selkie imprisoned on dry land, remember that the time will come when she will be released and will act as a guide and a companion through the watery realm of emotions and the other world. Okay. So here we have the other world again. And we also are dealing with another sacred feminine, the divine feminine. We're talking about water. Now, this particular helper is of the ocean, of the sea, but right now she's on land. And she's a guide. She can be a guide to us when we are facing those watery emotions. And the other two cards, the sow was on land and the Swan was on a lake, remember? So I'm going to get all the cards together here so that we can see all of them, all the energies together. Okay. Let's see if I can get this in the frame. Here we go. I think that works. Okay, so looking at all three energies together. Now remember, the first card is a swan, supported by the second two, supported by the sow, and supported by the seal. All three are about the divine feminine. The swan is about soul, the soul at the threshold, returning or going home, going to her mate's home, which is actually a burial tomb, a cairn. And I feel like we're dealing with ancestor stuff here. The sow is about nourishment, generosity, and discovery, right? And I really do believe that we're dealing with the discovery and how what we find could be nourishing, eventually nourishing to our physical body, but I think it's really about nourishing our soul, our spirit. And the seal is about love, longing, and a dilemma. And so I think that when we're looking at what feeds our soul, right? What brings us joy, correct? Right? It feeds our soul. And if we're doing the other world, and the swan is at the threshold, and the seal was also dealing with death as well. Yeah, and that discovery. I think that what we're working with here is soul growth, and the one part that most of us shy away from or we procrastinate about is the healing aspect of our emotions. Most of us don't want to go to the depth. Why? Because, of course, it could be painful, right? Most of us don't even like to cry out in front of other people. And so to have to maybe consider facing an emotional aspect, an emotional trauma, to heal it. That in that healing, we're feeding our soul. Yeah, we're nourishing ourselves. The goddess. Every single one of these animals, spirit animals in this draw today, are all directly connected to the goddess. In fact, the sow is one of her favorites. And her piglets are being nourished by wisdom. And so we get to gain some wisdom in our healing, right? We've done the experience already. We've experienced whatever that trauma was. And now to complete the walk with it is to do the healing around it so that we can really grasp the life lesson that comes with it, which is our wisdom, right? And here, the reason why I think our ancestors have something to do with this is because of the New Grange. That there's a possibility here that the healing that we're doing is actually more generational or ancestral. It may not even be ours specifically, that we may have experienced it in this life, but it actually, the root of it starts with an ancestor. And chances are it's a female relative. It's a female ancestor, right? And that we have an opportunity to heal something, an emotional trauma, ancestral trauma at the root, which is beauty. It becomes something very beautiful. It's about our soul growth. It's about nourishing ourselves, nourishing our soul, gaining that wisdom. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna duck into the chat room here and see who's saying what. Mervin is saying there's always ideas that drumming was done during ceremonies, but as a usual, nobody would say that there were coarse drummers during ceremony. I suppose that's a science thing. Anyway, they took in drummers, I believe, on one winter solstice, and they started drumming as the sun was. Oh, I would love to be there for that. Can I to experience that as a drummer? Holy smokes, that would be like way cool. All right, I'm going to talk to my spiritual team about that and bringing that experience in. Mervin's going on to say the sound. Oh, here we go. The sound reverberated around and around and became stronger and stronger with each beat. The dust on the floor began to rise and ripple like water as the first rays of the sun entered Newgrange. How cool would that have been to be there to see that, to experience it? Thanks for sharing that, Mervin. Rob said Lorena McKinnott is Canadian, and there's no boron in this one. Dang. But other songs feature it. Okay. Rats. Mervin says, I don't know if there's a video anywhere. Sorry. Okay. Well, if there is, we'll find it. When Stephanie gets better and she gets caught up, maybe I'll ask her to see if she can track anything down like that. Bobby is saying all three start with an S. That's true. All three start with an S. Huh. Very interesting. I got to think about that a little bit. Roberta says number 3 is also associated with soul growth. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because threes, especially triple threes, is about the decision. There's a decision you have to make, right? And your decision leads to either completing a life lesson or having to redo it to do it again. And it comes around again to you for that opportunity to finish it up. And I think that's part of the dilemma that the seal brings in, is that in searching for, the sow is helping us to search, right? To find that treasure. And in doing so, sometimes we maybe have to leave something behind or feel that we have to. Not necessarily that it's in the physical world either. Yeah, because with the seal card, they talked about the feeling of separation, and that there's a dilemma. You have to make a decision, and sometimes in that decision, there's something that you have to let go, and you don't know if you really want to do that in order to gain what it is on the other side. And that you have to make that decision for yourself to see about how valuable that gain is to you. And when I say valuable, I don't mean in the monetary sense. Okay. Yeah. Because I tell you what, when we do this kind of healing, let's see, gotta move the seal out a bit. When we do this kind of healing, this is about a big soul growth, big step. And it changes us. It changes our frequency. It changes our vibration. And when we do that, the energy that no longer matches us drops away, moves away. It's part of the natural laws, right? And so in that, sometimes we lose sight of some people or some things in our lives that we feel like we're not ready to let go of yet. I say that with a question mark because that's the dilemma, isn't it? Is that if we experience the kind of growth that we could and come closer to our original vibration that we came in with, some of those people that are in our lives, or some of those things that are in our lives, are no longer going to be there. And so we face that dilemma. Do I move away from my friends, or do I stay with them? And if I stay with them, the consequence to that is my soul growth is still going to happen, but it's going to happen slower. And there's possibility that I'm going to miss out on the potential of that, right? Yeah. Rob is saying I'm going to have to check on the archives. Okay. I know you're at work. Thanks for being with us as long as you could, Rob. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me one little bit that these 3 cards came this morning. And then I was watching Polly Joe's show at noon, and she was talking about the Akashic records, and from the Egyptian perspective of the Akasha, and that she was talking about ancestral healing, right? And how things shift and change for you. Not just you, but your ancestors and your descendants. Because when we heal something like that, especially an emotional trauma, at the root for an ancestral healing, it shifts and changes everyone forward from the one Nokomis, the one grandmother who experienced this. This is why I think that we have 3 very divine feminine cards, is because the trauma is about emotions, and the water represents that. But the three are very connected to the goddess. And so we're healing a matriarchal line. And that means that matriarchal line is going to shift everybody, both male and female, in that familial line. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of souls. That's a lot of souls who get to shift and change their frequency because of the healing, the opportunity that we take in this lifetime to do that. That's what they call big medicine. Yeah. I don't know. On the card that we got yesterday, right, was the Earth Dragon, and that Earth Dragon was protecting treasures, your treasures, and the treasures are your gifts that you came in with. I think they called them soul treasures, the treasures of your soul. I think that's how it was put, right? And that you have access to some of those treasures. And as you shift and grow, you get more and more access to your gifts. But in order to do that, you have to do some healing work. You have to do your personal work. Okay, then we get these 3 cards today. So if your intention for your life, your physical life, is to be able to access your gifts, master your gifts, to have more understanding and clarity with your intuition, if you want to be of service to others, to use your healing gifts that way, yeah, that just means that, or if that's what you truly want, that you have some work to do. to have more access to your gifts. Okay. And so then this bounces back over to the cards that we got the other day that we were talking about using our gifts in the new vibration. We're used to using our gifts in the third dimension. There are many people who are learning how to use their expanded gifts in the fourth dimension. And even there's even some people who are experiencing using their gifts in the fifth dimension as well. And how do I know this? Is because Grandmother Earth is already in the fourth dimension and she's already shifting into the fifth. And we're still here. We're still with her. So that means that those of us that are awake on our journey here, that we've done enough healing for ourselves to remain with her up to this point. George just came in to join us. And I think that if we really want to experience our gifts in their fullness as much as we possibly can, and if that is one of your desires, one of your intentions, then this is the kind of healing that we need to do. Yeah. That kind of big medicine healing. And it's not to say that you haven't done some of that already. That's how you that's probably how you got into the fourth dimension with everybody else, right? Is because we didn't. We have made some big strides in our healing. But I think that the cards today are giving us an opportunity, showing us something here that that we have not just the ability, but the opportunity to be able to do this. And we got the support that we need. We have all the support coming from the goddess, all the support. Nope, gotta get the seal out there somehow. To be able to hold all three so you guys can see them is a little difficult here. Okay, I think I got it. So we have help. I think that third card, the seal, was the most potent, telling us that the soul card, the Swan, is taking a journey. She's coming into landing onto that lake, which the water, the emotions, it's movement. And the sow is about nourishment. Generosity and discovery. So perhaps we're discovering that part of us that we remember, maybe that we even dream about. That makes sense? Yeah. It's a big one. I I don't know if I can find it. I know that I have information about numerology because we taught that class a few months ago. For the academy, and in that I had information on the alphabet. And I'm not sure. Let's see. Here it is. Yay. I'm going to bring this up. You can give it a solo. So the S is a 1. And we've got 3 of them, right? So triple ones. Triple ones. And 1 is the beginning, right? Let's see. Do I have, whoops. I thought I had, I know I have another one that shows, that shows the meaning of the triple numbers. Hang on. I know I can find it. I just got a lot of pictures in this one. Here it is. All right. So the triple ones. Triple ones. Is about the energy flow. Any energy flow, such as electricity, money, water, etc. Energy flow. Triple ones. And of course, there is that number 3. And some would say that the number 3 is also about the goddess, right? Mother Maiden Crone. And that's who we're talking about here. We're talking about the goddess bringing us a message about our soul growth. It's very interesting. I tell you what, you can't make this stuff up. If we tried to plan it out this way, it would never work out this well. So I know that that doing that emotional healing work it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge. Experienced it, right? More than once. And let me tell you, it's so much easier when it's little, when they first bring it to you, when your team first shows it to you, instead of procrastinating about it or saying, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to have to experience that again in the healing of whatever that is. Right? And so when we don't do the healing, when we make all kinds of excuses not to, we delay it and causing ourselves more pain, more misery, really. This is one that happens quite often, is that, and I've done it too. So I've not only witnessed it, I've actually done it. Is that you realize that you identified what it is that you want to heal, even if it's just say whatever that ancestral matriarchal emotional trauma that is the possibility that I can heal. I don't necessarily have to know all the details about it, but set the intention. That's what I want to heal, right? All right, so we've set the intention, and then we start down the path of the healing work. And as we gather energy around it, we start noticing shifting in our life, right? And it gets to the point is like, I don't know, wait. I don't know if I want to do this. And then we come up with all kinds of excuses. It's too expensive. That healer is over there in another state. I don't like using Skype. or we keep saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take that class," or I'm going to read that book," or "I'm going to do those meditations," and we don't. We procrastinate about it, right? Yeah, been there, done that. And I've also know that as soon as I make the decision that, okay, all right, we'll do it. We'll do it. Now, what do I have to do again? Who do I have to see? And then when I make the decision to actually move forward with it, my team lines things up. I can get in to see the healer, no problem. It's not as expensive as I thought it was going to be, because, our minds can really turn things around, Yeah. Yeah. So we have to make that decision for ourselves. And I think that's part of the dilemma that comes with the seal card. Yeah. Not only do we change our vibration and maybe, some friends won't be around as much or at all. Maybe some family members will, drop out of the family picture. And so those are the things that we have to be okay with, right? Yeah. But it's all good in the end. It really is. It really is. It's all good in the end, because in that healing that we do, especially in something this large, um, we have the opportunity of realizing our greatest desire, whatever that is for you. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, my sister Minnie's in the house. Yeah, she makes the third live stream show host in the house. Hello, Minnie. So good to see you here. Here, yay, just for a bit. That's good. And Valerie says, thank you for the magazine. It showed up today in the mail. It did. Man, that took a long time. But I'm glad you got it. And please enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. And we are at the top of the hour. I'm just going to show you the 3 cards one more time. And so that way you can get a sense of the energy that these cards hold for us. Right? See if I can get everybody in there. There we go. Got a lot of divine feminine energy here. Energy coming from the goddess. About healing possibly an ancestral matriarchal trauma, emotional trauma that's affected many generations. And when we do this kind of healing, the kind of wisdom that comes from it is invaluable. The kind of soul growth that is the result of it is immeasurable. Yeah. There we go. Very nice. Kind of a big reading today. So I hope you guys can join us tonight. My weekly show is tonight, Communications from Home, at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here at the same place, the same fan page, the main fan page. My guest tonight is Karen Armstrong, and Karen is a shamanic healer, and she is also a drummer and a drum maker. We got a lot of things in common, she and I. We've been trained by an in-common teacher, and so we're going to be, the name of the show is My Drum, My Ancestors. And so we're going to be talking a bit about that. And I asked her if she could please bring us some information about her Celtic roots, both Irish and Scottish, I believe. And so hopefully you can join us 8 p.m. Eastern right here tonight, Tuesday night. Okay. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time is Polly Jola Bay's show called Soul Connections. And it's an evening about divine healing and divine messages. The first half of the show is about bringing your healing intention, and with your spiritual team, and Polly Jo and her team hold that sacred space for us, but they also assist us in the healing and the releasing. Okay, can be a very powerful evening. And the second half is the card draw. And if you enjoy getting a mini card reading, come and join us. She'll keep reading cards in the order that they were asked until everybody has one that wants one. So that's at 7 p.m. Wednesday night. Okay. All right. So let's see. Bobby's saying, wow, so much great info. Many generations making mistakes and carrying fears that they have got rid of. Right. Thank you. Even more clarity with your card draw. Thanks to Polly Joe as well for that, showing us how to release this energy today. Isn't that the truth? And with her show, with that meditation, you can always watch the recorded show. If you didn't catch it live, that's okay. You can always do the meditation through the recording, right? And then there's also tomorrow night as well. You can bring in that intention of the kind of healing that you're looking to do, and you can do it tomorrow night as well, live. So, all right, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully I'll see you back here this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, okay? If not, tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time, right here for the daily live stream and group card draw, okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.